Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews, all on the app. Download today.
We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature, whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes. Nature makes all of our lives, well, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With All Trails, you can discover trails nearby and explore confidently. With offline maps and on-trail navigation, download the free app today.
Start here. Hail, cheaters. Welcome to the Always Cheating Podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Brandon. Brandon, we are not even 9/10, I guess. Well, there are two matches that didn't get played this weekend, right? So we're 7/8 of the way through.
I think it's just Forest Brentford to go, isn't it?
Yeah, so 7/8 of the way to go.
Yeah, we're close enough. Let's close it up.
Close enough. Yeah, let's close
Stop
up
the
shop.
count.
Well, that game is on Thursday. I mean, it's crazy late in the week.
Yeah.
I think it's because they wanted time in between the FA Cup final. And
fair enough.
Yeah, although in the end, I mean, Man City. Like, I guess for Liverpool's sake, it's a good thing they sort of came on.
Yeah.
Came on late this season because I know I was actually I would say going into this weekend I was arguably more excited for the FA Cup matches than I was for the the Premier League. I thought these matches could both be really good. I wasn't sure who was going to win either one, and they ended up being kind of one-sided. And I actually thought we ended up with some pretty interesting Premier League stuff, and even Liverpool. I think you kind of correctly called it. You thought it was going to be very one-sided. And it really turned out to be. But that match was actually kind of fun in a way, just because it was, I don't know, it was like they were just like they were sort of playing the kind of joyous football that won them the title. And it was like they were like a pot. This is not like a Jose Mourinho win every match 1-0 squad, right? It was like they won the Premier League because they had a bunch of matches like this season where they would just beat a mediocre team 5-1, right? It was,
and neither of us are Liverpool supporters, so and I guess we're neutral as far as Liverpool is concerned. And I think from a neutral point of view, it's hard to not get sucked into this squad. And I think if you take the Klopp to Slot narrative out of it, just the players on the pitch, watching that match against Spurs, undeniable how beloved so many of these players are, and particularly like watching Van Dijk after like all the scenes after the final whistle.
Virgil van Dijk?
Virgil van Dijk, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's straight out of the 7 levels of hell into Anfield.
Yeah, his name should be Virgil's Van Dijk.
But you're just like legends, like Van Dijk, Salah, Andy Robertson, Trent, and then you see like McAllister is like the new vanguard of this Liverpool team, and the commentary of like what's next for Liverpool, what more they can they achieve, and the squad kind of has it all. And I was explaining it to like the ultimate neutral, my wife, and I was like, well, this is kind of interesting because Liverpool are synonymous with supporter culture. I mean, like, that's unfair to say for virtually every team around the world, but I think Liverpool, like in popular understanding, are synonymous with fan culture, which is why the commentary always goes dead silent when you sing Never Walk Alone.
It's interesting. You and I are really the two test cases in the impossibility of making your spouse a fan of a sport that you are a big fan of, because I similarly, my wife is not she's not a hater by any means, and she'll watch the Premier League, and she likes saying things like Harry Kane, he scores when he wants or whatever. But in general, not a fan.
Harry Kane, by the way, who got a yellow card this weekend, meaning he will not be able to play. He's suspended for the match in which Bayern Munich will win the trophy.
I didn't see that. That's so on brand.
The curse
that's
of Spurs is wide ranging.
That's wild. He should have not even played in that match to avoid that happening. Like they're going to win it at a try. lot, right? Yeah, but in general, like even today when Salah scored, I guess it was the fourth goal for Liverpool. I was like, you gotta watch this. And I was like, trying to like get her to. And she was like, oh, like she was sufficiently impressed, I guess, but
it's a little bit like watching Leonardo DiCaprio win the Academy Award. You're like, Salah was going to score in this match.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful and deserved nonetheless.
It was a nice goal. You kind of thought he was going to score the second he got the ball, right? It was the kind of goal you're like, okay, this is the goal. It's finally going to happen. So, Cody Gakpo, it was like they were trying to get him goals. Like Cody Gakpo like had an open net and he passed it to Salah just to see if he could score that match.
Yeah. But so fair play to Liverpool. And I was so caught up in the vibes of that match that it actually bringing it back around to the FA Cup, I completely forgot that Forest Man City match was happening.
Yeah, that was some unfortunate counter programming there. The Liverpool win the title while listen, there have been times when Man City have been a lot of fun to watch, right?
Yeah.
It has not been this season. And I guess if you're a Forest supporter, but like it was like, Rico Lewis scored in the second minute.
No one's tuning in for that now.
Yeah, it was like, well, it already felt like it was kind of
stars are out.
Battle.
Yeah. The stars are out at Wembley. Rico Lewis.
It's wild that even in Pep's like worst season as at Man City, they have still done what they've done like every year in the Premier League, which is they reach a stretch right around game week 30 where no team will score on them again. It's just like this crazy. I know Villa scored it, but just in general, it's like it's amazing how much they figure things out defensively every single season.
So speaking of clean sheet for Guardiola, goal for Guardiola in the FA Cup semifinal, I think we're here to basically talk about the final 4 game weeks of the FPL season, which amount to the home stretch. Like, I feel like there are going to be a handful of managers out there still with some chips to play, but where we are right now is we're out of chip season in a sense, and it's now just sort of like, as you're fond of saying, Josh, brass tacks.
We are down to brass. We've taken the furniture has been
stripped
bare. Yeah, we're down to those brass tacks. So what is still to come this week? Well, a few things. Arsenal PSG play on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we've got Man United playing Bilbao. And then Spurs play Bodo/Glimt. I wonder if they sometimes change those around. It's like Antigua and Barbuda. Yeah. It's like, but they never do St. Paul/Minneapolis, do they? I guess that's just not a thing.
One day it's going to be St. Paul's Day. I know it.
Yeah.
If I'm ever mayor of Minneapolis, St. Paul.
St. Paul gets no shine, right? It's a crazy. They're supposed to be the Twin Cities, but
there's no chapter in the Bible called Minneapolis.
I know, and yet Minneapolis gets all. Yeah, that's true. Actually, there's a whole saint named after the city. I hadn't even thought about that. And then Chelsea also play Djurgården. I've never heard of Djurgården ever, by the way. This is a European semifinal.
I believe it was an operation featured in Band of Brothers.
Yeah, Operation Djurgården. Yeah, it was one of the great losses, right, in the Netherlands. It's and then Forest Brentford also play on Thursdays. Thursday's a big day. A big day. There's a lot going on. And so, but I actually think in some ways that's less important than the scheduled fixtures for the double game weeks, right? And so because Man City and Palace are in, or Man City and Palace are in the final. Gosh, by the way, that Palace, like, are you immediately remembering when Alan Pardew was the Palace manager?
And he wore that incredible corsage to the final.
And he did
was dancing.
The shimmer. Ugh,
what a colossal idiot.
It was really the end of his career, I think. If they won that game, the whole arc of his career might be different,
Yeah. It was funny. I was thinking about him because I put Alan Pardew. Alan Pardew's managerial career was longer and more successful than Tim Sherwood's. But I was watching Premier League, like the match day live show. Yeah. And Tim Sherwood was on there just looking horrible. Like his face is so wrinkled and
really,
he looks
done
weathered.
like a full Rooney. Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he's probably weathered more from too many vacations in Spain as opposed to just like too many
So it's
six
more,
packs.
so it's more leathery than fleshy.
It is quite leathery, but he was. There's no segue to make here. Like for Tim Sherwood was making some very excellent withering points about Ipswich Town, which we can save for another podcast.
So the thing I like about Russell Crowe, by the way, he's both leathery and fleshy. It's a rare thing. You know?
He's a 2 for 1.
You don't get that too often.
Yeah. Wait. Sorry. Okay. What were we talking about?
Alan Pardew. We're talking about so Palace and Man City are in the final, which means that their fixtures for game week 37 will need to get that would have taken place in game week 37 will need to get rescheduled. So, so what's going to happen is actually TBD. Unfortunately, as of this recording, we don't know when those matches are going to get rescheduled. So,
but potentially it could be settled before the game week 35 deadline, though.
It seems very likely. Yeah. Yes, it seems very likely. There are some other factors that complicate things a little bit. You have there's like a man. Was it Man United have like requested that they move their date with Aston Villa as well? Because
Spurs were the ones that were putting up some sort of
or Spurs, right, and Villa were pushing back on that. So it's really hard. Like there's some fixture changes to come, basically, and so we'll see. Man United actually, that one already got done. They're actually going to play on a Friday, I think, to get around that. So, so there's a lot to come, and so basically, I don't really want to speculate on it too much because by the time we do our Patreon pod on Thursday, we'll hopefully have more clarity. And so my thought right now is I'm just going to kind of hold my transfers. Yeah. But I guess the reason I'm bringing all this up is you have a Premier League fixture. You have 4 Premier League teams playing, right, over the next, not even counting the Europe, Premier League fixture. Yeah, 4 in Europe. So you have 6 Premier League teams that play before the next deadline. So I would be cautious of making any moves early, basically.
Very much so. I guess there are no injuries to speak of coming out of the weekend FA Cup or Premier League, but you just never know when that shit will drop. And you have 4 game week deadlines to go, meaning you have 4 more free transfers, bar whatever you have banked to play. I think it's, and I think what we should kind of touch upon in this episode, Josh, is what are the strategies for holding your ground or catching up in your mini league, and playing your free transfers as strategically as you can is a big part of that. So I'm with you in terms of like waiting till up to the deadline for game week 35 to see like what squad news we have from those European matches and any fixture rearranging that could have impact blanks and doubles.
Yeah, I think we can talk about that in a second here, because I think factoring in these years, like I actually think it's there's like a lot of stuff to think through, but it's like kind of classic. It's just like. To me, this is just, it's like part of the game. Like, I don't, it's the kind of thinking I don't mind doing, right? Where it's like, okay, let's like try to like strategize this a little bit, right? Like, I think a big factor will be how the European teams do over the next couple of days, right? Like, if all 4 of the teams that are in Europe win their first leg or it's close, right? That will really change their strategy going into this weekend, for example, right? And that offers an opportunity for a player, like for teams you might want to target. It also maybe like there might be like a transfer you were thinking about making that you just want to avoid now, right? As a result of that, that's before even taking the double game weeks that we can still have a couple of. So and it won't be a huge double. It's not going to like ruin your team planning. Although I will say I got rid of all of my Palace players. And now I kind of, the thing is, it actually worked out in the end.
Fine. You don't want them. Yeah, I don't think you do. They will be so laser focused on that final. And what Glasner has shown is that he's very happy to rotate in favor of these. You saw so much rotation with Mateta.
Us SAR owners, though, Brandon. I mean, for him to
he
finally
had such
get
an
the
incredible game against Villa. Just a powerhouse.
Was he playing possum for several weeks in the Premier League, and then suddenly he strikes? It's very irritating. But good for him. And I actually really the turnaround for this Palace team is actually a low key one of the better stories, I would say, for the second half of the season. Right? It's sort of I don't know. I guess it started to get more attention other than the FA Cup final, but they've been quite good basically for 4 months now, and they're a fun team. They're easy to root for, front to back. Right? It's a pretty interesting squad. They sort of
is this what we're going to expect from Crystal Palace going forward under Glasner? Because the Glasner came in midway through last season, but Palace were a late season charge last season, and here they are again. Yeah, it's just
hard
players,
to say, right? Because we didn't. We thought that going into last season, right? I mean, or this season, we thought
we did.
The first,
and then what's the squad look like? Like Eze looked like he was kind of sleepwalking through. Yeah. He's kind of emblematic of Palace in his own way. Yeah, he is. His stock is as high as it's ever been. Like he's really finishing the season strong. I wonder if he's at Palace next season. It's the Zaha effect.
Isn't it weird, by the way, that I didn't like Zaha disappearing without just so quietly? It's still strange to me. Like, I felt like he had such a presence in the Premier League.
Where is he going to go in England to? I'm going to Turkey, and then suddenly, boom! I'm in Major League Soccer. Yeah, not a great trajectory.
Playing for Charlotte. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not 100% sure I knew that Charlotte had an MLS team until this moment. Yeah, exactly. I just had to wiki him to see where he was right now. All right. Well, anyway, so more to come. But again, if you the problem is I don't want to speculate on the double game weeks because it's all going to be outdated by the time this podcast goes live, right? For people who aren't listening to the stream. And so, you'll be able to find that content elsewhere. The point is, hold your transfers, basically. There's plenty of other things to talk through. So I just thought quickly, though, I would share my team with you. I had a tricky week because I did have a free hit. And so I had to think about kind of where I wanted to go with my transfers. I would say so far I'm 2 for 2. Put a little asterisk on that because I could have gone for Nori over Cucurella. But again, if Jamie Vardy scores his pen, then I'm feeling better about that. Yeah, exactly. So, but whatever, right? And this is but I really especially because I had to burn 4. I had 2 frees and I used an extra one, and so I turned a 0 from a defender into effectively 2 for Cucurella, right? But hey, every 2 points counts, right? They can really add up. And then I brought in Cunha, which worked out great. And then I have Mbomo as well. And Mbomo is, we'll see what he does in the Forest match. I actually think there's a chance he could do something just because Forest have been struggling a bit, and he's been in great form. But I also just kind of want him for the stretch too. There's a couple of really good matches upcoming. Yeah. I'm actually not secretly, I'm telling you right now, but I'm considering captaining him for game week 35. Wow. I think the captaincy is super wide open in 35, and you have kind of post-title Liverpool away to Chelsea. Like, sure, like maybe the pressure's off Salah now, but I don't think he's like an automatic awesome pick, right? I think it's pretty open in terms of where you want to go with the captaincy this week. But let's put a pin in that for now. So Cucurella, Huijsen, incredibly irritating clean sheet loss there right at the death. He already had yellow card anyway, but still, Evan Nilsson read a lot happened in that Man United Bournemouth game, Brandon. Semenyo goal.
It did. Like the Semenyo. So on my free hit, I brought in Semenyo and Evan Nielsen, and that was the peak of my powers. There was the Evan Nielsen to Semenyo goal. Yep. And then it all started sort of just like slowly draining away. But Evan Nielsen, like, there's no reason for him to go to ground. He slipped a little bit, which is what led to his studs on the ankle. And so you could say a bit harsh with the slip, but there's no reason he should be going to ground like at the halfway line. Like a bad challenge, deserved red. Goodbye. Yeah. And so like
you're much more Republican about this stuff in general. I tend to be a little softer. I didn't really.
I'm very. If it were up to me, we'd replace all the referees with Judge Dredd. And
yeah, exactly.
I think that'd be wonderful. You got maybe like Judge Dredd as linesman and RoboCop in the center of the field.
Which RoboCop? Joel Kinnaman RoboCop, or
actually not even RoboCop, but like the robot who just like the big like emotionless robot who just machine guns everybody to death.
Oh yeah, The T2.
Let's get Terminators.
I guess I was thinking the Terminator without its like the chrome one at the beginning of T2.
The liquid metal one, or the
no, just mean like the one in the beginning. Like, the opening scene when he
understand
stomps on the skull.
The metal one. Yeah.
Why are they holding guns? The beginning of that movie, honestly, when you watch it again, you're like,
what is this?
Yeah, you're like, because I was just watching it with my kid, and I was like, it is cool, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Also, like why would they? It's like they were able to send one person back, and we were too, and it was like were they like in the same place? Like, how do they know?
Race. It's an arms race.
How do they know to do it at the same place, the same time, the same minute?
It's kind of convenient, isn't it?
It is kind of convenient. Where it's like they had some rule that like you've got to send a robot on a human back. Like it's kind of confusing.
Totally. I don't remember where I was going with that ramble, but anyway, yeah.
Oh, the red card.
The red card,
yeah.
But like we could talk about my free hit in a moment, but like rounding off your team here. I mean, I feel like honestly, on a -4 to finish to be on 74 minus a transfer hit,
right?
With Mboma to go. You must feel
and Nico Williams
right?
Yeah. So
you must be feeling. I mean, I feel like you've escaped, and it was a crazy weekend for free hitters. The combinations of winning that I have seen has been. I have not seen many losers out there.
No, that's true, and it's interesting because it was a good week for people who I'm not even necessarily the world's greatest advanced planner when it comes to fantasy, but certainly just because of the podcast and stuff, I had been thinking a lot about this blank and what to do, and so I think. But I think the nice thing for those of us, like kind of people who are listening to this podcast, we were doing a little bit of advanced planning. So I think there were some people who just got caught short, right? Mm-hmm. And they were just like, oh God, there's only 6 fixtures, or there's only I only have 6 players, or I don't know quite. Do I field 9 players? Do I take a -16? Like, and so there was a lot of that. So it was like it wasn't. Sometimes when everybody has a good week, you don't feel your rank rise a little bit. But I think because there was enough of that out there, it was like even with the -4, even with the 2 players still to play, which sort of artificially depresses my rank for a couple of days, I'm still on a green arrow as well. And so, so a good week. And how about you? Like you sort of settled in on your free hit team, right?
Yeah, I'll share my free hit team on the screen right now. And it's always looking at your neighbor and seeing what your neighbor has. And the number of combinations in which I saw Sarr plus Sessegnon plus Aït-Nouri plus Trippier plus somebody, just like insane number of points. So it was always like the haves and have-nots, and I felt like I cannot feel shortchanged because every single player on my free hit to a man has gotten a return, except for some guys on my bench.
Right.
And I did bench Jared Bowen. And the toss up in my free hit was Bowen or a Newcastle mid. And I ended up starting Jacob Murphy.
Right.
And it seemed like that was kind of the right call. And I think Bowen had a very good game.
Because he was ultimately the highest performing mid, I think. Right.
Jacob Murphy was like De Bruyne in that Ipswich match. He was serving balls up on a plate for his teammates. He could have had like 1 million assists. He had an incredible game, and it was just very fortunate for fantasy owners that he got a makeup call for where Dan Burn should have got a penalty call.
I guess Trippier might have been the only the only lost opportunity.
Yeah. So I think that's what I got wrong looking at the free hit was I thought that there were so many good picks that I was willing to look past attacking potential for Newcastle defenders. Yeah. And I went for Nick Pope and goal. Jose Sa, like you pointed to the Vardy penalty, like that's a huge sliding door moment for free hits. But like I'm ecstatic. I'm on 82 points right now with Mbomo to go.
Yeah.
And even Evan Nielsen finishes on 2 points with a red card. And it's sort of like, sure, whatever.
Could be worse.
Like,
yeah. And so you're
allowed.
like right on the cusp of the top 100K now, right?
Yeah. So my rank right now is 105K. And if I always called him Obama, if Mbomo gets an attacking return, I could be in there. Yeah. But I think now is, I think, kind of where I'm at with the FPL season is it's all fun and games when it's chip season and there's a lot of potential. And now I have played my final chip in game week 34. Yeah. And now it is all down to transfer decisions
right
into how I get into / stay in the top 100K. And it feels like forever to go. 4 game weeks is still a lot of time. And I think that's positive for people who are looking to make up some ground in their mini league. Sure. And it's a little daunting for people who are trying to sort of like steal themselves.
You'll be in New York in a month.
I will, yeah. I'll be at the Black Horse with you, game week 38. And listen, 10 years of the podcast. If you want to come celebrate 10 years strong with Always Cheating, and you're going to be in the New York area, come do Championship Sunday, game week 38 at the Black Horse with us. That'll be a treat.
That will be. It'll be nice to do that, to say our, whatever we end up saying there, Brandon.
We're getting married.
Yeah, exactly. If you, it's the end of the season. So if you want to support the podcast, I realize that we literally have 4 weeks to go, but I've got Patreon information in my copy here, Brandon. So darn it all, I'm going to read it. But we will do an extra podcast for our Patreon supporters on Thursday. Hopefully, we'll have some information to share about the double game weeks. And you can go to patreon.com/alwayscheating. And hopefully, this podcast has been helpful for our Patreon supporters this year. It's been fun actually. We were talking about this, but the community team run by our Patreon supporters is on an incredible run. Have you seen how it's done so far this week?
The community team for Always Cheating, which has been run by our great friend Francis Mann all season, it's on a free hit, and it was kind of, let's see. Let me pull it up here.
Yeah, average looks like, I'm seeing
70 points. Leno in goal went for the least of the points with Newcastle defense with Livramento. Van Dijk. I mean, I like a lot of these punts. Like, this feels like sort of a really sturdy free hit.
Yeah. Well, Chris Wood, pseudo differential,
could do the biz. Yeah. Captain Isaac, that was a good swing for a differential. And Salah, he got a bonus. Like, I don't know how he caught up with Szoboszlai at the end there.
I don't know. I did he create a chance, completed passes or something? He rarely gets those.
Oh, I have a grievance. If you allow me.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes. I'm playing up against at least one head-to-head opponent who has Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, it was two bonus.
Bonus. Yeah. For just like hot air being expelled from his mouth. Like, I don't understand. I didn't think he had a very good game. Lots of missed chances, fluffed, and shots, and I don't know how he does it. The guy's just very involved. I must give him credit for that.
I used to love Bruno, but now I'm kind of it's gotten a little time. Maybe it's the whole project right now. I'm ready for a fresh start. All right, well let's move on, Bruno. Let's take a look at game week 35.
We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature. Whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes, nature makes all of our lives, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With All Trails, you can discover trails nearby and explore confidently. With offline maps and on-trail navigation, download the free app today.
Earn a business degree on your terms. At Capella University, our FlexPath format is available in select programs and lets you learn on your schedule. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
Every day is a chance to move forward, so why settle for gear that holds you back? Roan delivers technical fabrics that breathe, stretch, and adapt, keeping you sharp and comfortable. From work to workouts, Roan's advanced fabrics fight odor, keep you cool, and move with you. With wrinkle-release tech and a tailored fit, you'll always look as good as you feel. Upgrade your wardrobe, because when your clothing performs, so do you. Roan, performance apparel fit for progress. New customers get 20% off your first order at Roan.com with code ROAN20.
Hey, we've got a Friday match, don't we? Here, let me pull up the fixture, see when I can both take a look at them as we're talking. Feels like it's been a while. So that actually does make things slightly more complicated, doesn't it? In terms of transfer decisions. Like, I mean, I feel like it was just a year or two ago where they announced a double game week like minutes after the deadline. Like they were like, I presumably like holding it for them. I don't really know. I mean, on the one hand, you're like, would they wait? And then it's like, well, the game is run to the Premier League's website, so sure, why not? Like, it's not like you don't talk to each other.
It's to me, it's annoying that there is this advantage that you could have by holding and waiting for that announcement. On the other hand, it's really one team that I'm salivating over coming out of this weekend, and it's Wolves, who continue their form.
Right.
And they have a good run in, but they are away at the Etihad in game week 35. So it's almost kind of like I don't have to really consider my transfers or the doubles or the blanks this weekend. It feels in that sense a good weekend to just roll.
Yeah.
And
it's an interesting
things play out, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting week. I have I do have Cunha because I didn't free hit it, so I am starting him for this match. I think he's worth starting.
I would too, easily.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have three players in that match. I'm gonna have Marmoush, who seems completely cooked. I don't really, I don't know. I mean, he's playing okay. I don't know. It's just like it's
got an assist in the semifinal.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I'm just I guess I'm just irritated because he hasn't gotten fantasy turns in many, many weeks. And it really, it's funny how much you just take it for granted. The like Holland style, just like metronomic, like returns every week. And then you get like a more kind of garden variety forward type in Marmoush. And you're like, like this is really what it's like. Once every 4 weeks, you get something, a little run of form. Maybe they'll string a couple weeks together.
Yeah.
So the Man City Wolves game is pretty interesting. But again, I think it's useful to think of these fixtures through the lens of like what some teams have to play for and what they don't, right? So Man City Wolves, right? Wolves are a form team, and I don't see them as being on the beach, right? They're sort of they're playing well, and I don't see any reason for that to kind of abate. Whereas Man City are still somewhat fighting for a Champions League spot. It's not an absolute given, right, that they're locked into the Champions League. And so they have something to play for sure. It's a very stretched out game week, by the way. We have a match on Friday, match on Monday, 4 matches on Saturday, 4 matches on Sunday. So
just drop them all at the same time. I binge them.
Yeah. Oh man, and that Sunday morning run is dreck. Good Lord. Everton, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton. If there was ever a time, Brandon, to go see like an early movie. I don't know. Is there 10 a.m. showing of Sinners that you can go see somewhere? I don't know.
Sinners time. This is becoming a Sinners podcast. Did you catch this? Ken Early on Second Captains was talking about things he would do to improve the Premier League. And he was like, there would only be one kickoff per day and only on Saturday or Sunday or Wednesday. And all teams would play at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just like, imagine how efficient your sports weekend would be. Is like,
well, this is
all your games get banged out in 2 hours.
The NFL figured this out, right? They've got
games go on for all day, every day, though, right?
Well, they have games at 1 and games at 4, right? And then there's a couple, and there's like Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday
night.
Yeah, but I mean, they're fixed. They're totally fixed, right? Okay. Every Thursday, every Monday, and then you got the games on Sunday. That's it. There's I guess like holiday. I don't know. Sometimes like now they're like getting Christmas Day. They are making it more complicated, sadly. But when I was a kid, it was just you basically just had the Sunday day
Yeah.
games, and then you had Monday Night Football, and it was
Right.
it was very clean. You kind of knew what you were getting. It was the Premier League. Any week there might just not be a morning fixture, there might not be an afternoon fixture. It's chaos. I saw you.
So where are you in terms of your engagement with the league after today, where all three teams have been confirmed relegated? Liverpool confirmed champions. Obviously, there is a horse race for top 5, even like top 8, whatever European positions there are.
Yeah,
I do feel like there's going to be a catastrophic drop in interest after this weekend.
Well, I mean, it was already kind of settled, right? But I guess it wasn't officially settled. Yeah. Well, that's why I think it's useful to go through like who's got stuff to play for all, right? So let's run through the fixtures, and that'll just be kind of a different way for us to do this discussion.
Yeah.
So Villa, Fulham, pretty much on the beach at this point, I'd say, right?
They'll tell you that they're running for Europe, but I don't.
You've never been a believer, and you've been fully validated.
Listen, the Marco Silva project is alive and well, and it continues apace. And there have been vast improvements with Fulham this season, and I think it'll be even better next season. But I just don't think they have it in them to push in the next 4 game weeks. So I wouldn't say they're on the beach, but I think that they're probably out of gas.
Yeah, I think that is true. I think that they're like they pushed this year's project.
I mean, the Southampton game was a miracle for them.
Yeah.
And that game kind of played out as I had predicted, in terms of like they're going to be away from the cottage and it's going to be a mixed bag of motivations, and they had to leave it till the death. And I mean, you can talk about Southampton being kind of motivated in terms of like pride and all of that, and they're still possibly going to finish with the Derby County record of worst season ever. But so if it took Fulham that amount of effort to get it over the line, I don't see them finishing strong here.
Well, I think it's and if you're the expert on Fulham and you're this down, then I think it's fair to say that the project has run its course this season. Again, your words, not mine.
We'll be back next season, though.
Yeah, exactly. Another 12th place run, but Villa have quite a lot to play for. They're in 7th in the table. They are 3 back of a tie for 5th in the Champions League spot. Their goal differential is a problem, so they're probably really more like 4 points back. But still, you gotta, even if they just make the Europa League, I think there's still, it's still a big deal.
Yes,
and
it is.
So I think that they've got plenty to play for, and their form is actually pretty good if you look past the FA Cup. They've won 4 of their last 5 Premier League matches.
That Newcastle fixture, I think, was very emblematic of where you should put Villa in your sort of like heat map.
Yeah,
they've got a lot of goals in them.
Yeah, and that the Man City match that they lost, I feel like it was quite late, right, when Man City took the lead in that game, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So they're really not much. Yeah, I don't know if that affected their FA Cup performance or not, but that was definitely a little bit of a stomach punch. Yeah, so there's something there. I guess transfer wise, I think you could still look at Villa as a possible place to go with your transfers. Everton, Ipswich, irrelevant. Don't get anyone in their fantasy players. Neither team have anything to play for. It's over. Leicester, Southampton, exactly the same. There's nothing there. Don't even wait. I'm not going to waste any more pod time for these two. Just don't watch these games. That's how you talk about engagement. You're doing yourself a favor.
Box.
Yeah, exactly. Like they've decided to spread this weekend out over 4 matches and give us Everton, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton. Probably because there's some TV rights thing where it's we have to have Leicester on X number of times this season.
Well, none of these games will be televised in England, at least.
That's true. Maybe it's like an American. Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know how
Southampton
you end up with these
could actually finish -2, -1, which would be an interesting result, I think.
The actual score of that match?
Scoreline.
Yeah, that's true. That would be interesting. I'd love to see that actually.
goals in reverse.
Yeah, maybe it's like fans ran on both pitches, and so both teams got a 3-0
Points deductions.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Points deductions. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how. Yeah, like they were watching it remotely on a big screen.
I have to get this off my chest, though. Like, going in on Leicester and Southampton garbage seasons. Ipswich, I feel like Kieran McKenna has been getting away with it all season. Right?
Oh, you're so harsh on these guys. Like he has like nothing. Like that team has no talent. Like I mean, like they're basically as talented as Leicester, and they have been much more fun to watch this season. And have
3 more points. They've been
but they're more entertaining. They've like I feel like they've been a more positive, interesting team. Like they have brought some fun to the Premier League this year. Whereas
I think that's overstated. I do. I certainly they have brought more than Leicester and Southampton. Undeniable.
Yeah. Well, then there you go. So let's keep the negativity on those two. Yeah. All right. So Arsenal, Bournemouth. Arsenal. I don't think they have anything to play for in the Premier League anymore.
No, they won't. They barely showed up for that Crystal Palace match.
Yeah,
that was like a blacktop basketball tournament, sort of like shooting up crazy 3-pointers.
They almost lost it. Like they kind of, it was a part. They almost like they wanted to.
When
maybe
Saliba, when Mateta scored that goal, it was just like, this is not a. I mean, they could win the Champions League, and good on them.
Exactly. They could win the Champions League, and so all this stuff is irrelevant, really.
Yeah,
I mean, there's.
Right.
I think they could probably lose out and still get a Champions League spot. Yeah. I mean, they're seven clear, but with a massive goal difference. More like 8 clear with 4 to play. Like they're completely fine. And so, and they're also home. Like they'll probably win this match, even if they rotate a fair amount. So, because this Bournemouth team is just kind of. I mean, they're not in full on free fall, but they've only won 1 match in their last 5. They're down to 10th, so Europe is kind of over for them. They're not going to have Evan Nilsson, right? And so it just.
I mean, they're a mirror image of Fulham. They're not a mirror image. They're in the same situation as Fulham, and I think that I say that in a hopeful sort of way, and that here is a club that is in a good flow. But you have to accept sort of like your station, and it's going to take work to improve your station. It's going to take seasons. It's going to take years. Not every club can just be like Wrexham, Josh, and just get like promotion after promotion after promotion.
I can't believe it keeps working. Yeah. I was just thinking at some point, it's like they're going to have to at some point they're going to sack Parkinson, right? And
you could see I thought the video of the afters with the Wrexham match this weekend, Parkinson's face, you could see it, like it was written on his face of like the shocking, stunning relief on his face of like, this is, I feel like he knows this is as far as he can take that team, and the championship is going, like Wrexham could be at sea. Like I think it's good if Wrexham could just like float around the championship for years, and that they would be good for it.
That would actually be a good spot, because the championship is, I think, even as an American, the championship to me is pretty relevant, right?
It's such a colorful league. It's great.
You can stream it on ESPN. It's like it's a very. I mean, I guess you can find the other stuff, but it's like you're dipping into some of the murkier corners of the internet, right? If you're going to be consistently watching League 1 and League 2 matches, whereas this championship is, there's a lot of famous players in it. It's a massive step up, I think, in terms of stature. Yeah. So, and who knows? I mean, honestly, like given the quality of a Southampton type team, like no offense to their supporters, but like, I mean, that team is trash, right? Like, I mean, if a team that bad can make it to the Premier League, then sure, Wrexham can do it too.
For sure. They were talking about this on the Football Ramble this past week about like how the gulf from the championship promoted teams to established Premier League teams is wider than ever. And the last 2 seasons, it's been the 3 promoted teams go immediately back down, and it's kind of been just like a pumping up of a trend. Yep. And that goes into the whole, what do these mid-table teams who are charging for European places have? Yep. And it's kind of interesting how the Fulhams, the Brightons, the Bournemouths, now it's a disappointing season that they haven't clinched a European position. And that's just how established all of these clubs are now. Yeah. And and it's going to be impossible, possibly, for championship clubs that get promoted to even compete at any level. All to say that Fulham, Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford, even like they're all could say they've had incredible seasons.
Yeah, that's true. And like,
yeah.
but they're all like, but they've all been that promoted top club in the last few years, right? I mean,
Yes.
Bournemouth, Bournemouth have gone through 2 cycles of it, right? The Eddie Howe Bournemouth was a lot of fun for a long time, and then the wheels fell off, and they came back.
Scott Parker.
Yeah, exactly. But then they came back, and now they're really positive, fun teams.
Yeah,
So,
Gary. Never forget what Gary O'Neill did for this Bournemouth side.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's actually gone from Wolves too, but he was
sent to the shadow realm.
Yeah, he's been helpful. I feel like. All right, so yes, I would probably avoid both of these clubs though with potential transfers. So Brentford, Man United. I mean, I really do. I mentioned this before, but looking at the captaincy options for this weekend, I think you're looking at Salah as the just kind of perm up option, right? But I think that I do think Mbomo, home to Man United club that'll played in Europe a couple of days before. Yeah. If the first European leg is at all close, then this shouldn't be a match that they take super seriously. I just think there's a chance that Brentford could get a result in this one. Yeah. I think that Newcastle, I think Isak would be another option. Just because Brighton have been kind of shipping goals, right? And there might be actually a little bit less pressure on him, right? Like less kind of defensive attention just because it's a away match. So maybe that helps him a little bit. Who am I missing? I mean, it's
in terms of captaincy options.
Yeah, in terms of captaincy, obviously Salah too. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess Man City is a lot of people would have invested in Man City for their double, and then so it's just myself invested heavily in Man City ahead of the double and then free hit. And now I'm looking at my team for game week 35, and I've got triple City. Right. And you think any home match for City is a captaincy option, right? De Bruyne, Marmoush, even Guardiola, but the problem is Wolves are in such good form, and I never trust City to keep a clean sheet. And I think you pointed out accurately that Marmoush is, he's not double-digit return potential here. Yep. So City are kind of like in the conversation, but not intriguing at all.
Yeah, and I mean, having just tried it with Marmoush, I'm like, I need a little bit of a break. I feel like there. So, all right. So yeah, so I think that I do think you can make an argument for Mbomo. I don't really have a lot to lose, and so that's part of the fun for me is just kind of going for it.
Historically, Brentford score against Manchester United. Like, was it last season where it was like United were 2-0 up and then Brentford just humiliated them by scoring 2 goals at the death? And,
I kind of forgot that. Yeah.
They love United home or away. So I like that. I like that shout very much. Yeah.
Jared Bowen has been, I brought him in 2 weeks ago. I've gotten 9 points in back-to-back matches. He's been great. Spurs have not. So I think that he would be another possible pick. Very, very under the radar.
It was around like the 65th minute in the Liverpool Spurs match Sunday where it sort of dawned on me, like my eyes like physically are not registering Spurs players on the pitch.
Yes, I know.
Couldn't see them. Not see them.
They feel like a video game, like generic, or it's like it's like a kind of like a lower budget movie, where you've got the team that the good guys are playing, it's like they're
the Washington. Who are the team that the Harlem Globetrotters always play?
Yeah, the Washington Generals. Yeah, exactly. yeah. They kind of are. It's crazy. I mean, it's just such a weird year with them. They've lost 4 to 5. Who did they beat? Oh, they beat Southampton. I mean, that doesn't even count. Yeah. It's like an exhibition match. Yeah, I mean, they're not a 16th place. Like, it's crazy. Like, they're just.
There was a point after when West Ham were up against Brighton and they blew it because congratulations, Graham Potter.
Yeah.
But it was Spurs and United in 16th and 17th place, and it was just like all hell breaking loose in the table. So fun.
I know. After all of this, Everton have a chance to overtake West Ham, Spurs, and Man United. And Wolves are going to beat them all. The Wolves are up to 13th now. Like,
the table is a madhouse right now. I love it. Yeah.
So you're asking me, like, I still feel pretty engaged with the story.
Me too. Me too.
I mean, listen, if who won the title was like the determining factor every year, like. Most years you're not going to
stop watching this league. There's nothing here for you.
There's always something fun to watch. So Brighton, Newcastle, Brighton very little to play for. Newcastle obviously still fighting for a Champions League spot. They're up to third now. I mean but obviously they're just too clear of fifth, and so they're just playing so well. They're almost like kind of like a version of like Wolves, like where they're just like. Mm-hmm. They're just like in good form, and I expect them to just kind of roll through the last 4 weeks of the season. And so I think, I feel like, so let's, but as far as Brighton go, I mean, I guess they are up to 9th. So there's 5 Champions League spots this year, 1 Europe, and then in theory, or 1 Europa, and then in theory, if Man City win the FA Cup, would another Europa
I'm just kind of operating under the assumption that it's going to be 5 places Champions League, 6th and 7th get Europa, and then 8th is probably Conference League.
All right, that's where Fulham is right now. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, as down as you've been on them, like I think there's still a chance. Yeah. So. But so fighting with Brighton. So I don't know. Does Brighton feel especially motivated by going to like Bodo Glimt and not even Bodo Glimt's Europa League. They're going to
Spurs are playing Bodo Glimt.
Yeah, but whoever Chelsea are playing, like whatever
some
country
godforsaken Swedish team.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see here. And then, so West Ham Spurs, obviously nothing to play for on either side, but they can't get relegated. So it's like even worse in some ways. And then Chelsea Liverpool. I mean, this match has actual stakes for Chelsea.
It's big. It's big.
It is. I mean, and defensively, like once again, they have been very strong defensively. Yeah. Nicholas Jackson back, scored a goal. A
great goal too.
Yeah. I mean, I somehow missed that he was like back and getting minutes again. Like, has he started? Has he had other
I think
starts?
He's been back for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why. I've just been a little checked on him in general. And so,
I would say on Chelsea's clean sheet over the weekend that Sanchez was called upon to make some terrific saves.
Yep.
And that's not something he's going to do every weekend.
Right.
So I think that the problem is the narrative could go one of 2 ways. It could either go Liverpool are just super high on their own supply, they're champions, and they just go roll Chelsea because they're a weaker team and they don't have a great defense. Or it is a on the beach Liverpool who have partied a little too hard, and Chelsea have a lot of motivation to finish in Europe, and there you have it. I don't know which way it goes. I tend to favor Liverpool here.
Well, I guess I favor them too, just because I think they're better. But I don't. They are better, but I don't see this as a high scoring match. I guess is what it comes down to for me. I mean, I know that's not necessarily the question that we're talking about in terms of.
Well, it is. It's kind of like fantasy potential, right?
Right.
So it is.
Yeah. So I would avoid either club when it came to transfers this week. Certainly, it feels like a good week to hold your transfer. Honestly, if you can do it. But I think that it goes back to the Salah thing, where I just this to me feels like it could be like a 1-1. Right. That feels like the right range.
It really is. The main question is what's in it for Salah in this match, and then compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah.
It's funny. I agree
are
with
you in the Golden Boot race? Like
Salah has 28 goals, and the next closest is Isak with 22 goals.
Oh, so there's,
It's done.
kind of over. Maybe he wants to play for 30 or something, but I don't know.
I think and Salah, he says this in interviews all the time. He's just always thinking about his stats.
Yeah.
And what's remarkable about him is that
I mean, what is the assist record again? Isn't it 19? Am I wrong about that? What is the Premier League?
Might be somewhere between De Bruyne, Ozil, and Henry.
I thought it was Henry. Yeah.
19 sounds right to me. Yeah, you look it up.
It's 20. Okay, so 20 achieved by Henry and Kevin De Bruyne in the De Bruyne did the 1920 season. So, so Salah's 2 away from that. So I almost think that would be a bigger motivator.
Sure, Golden Boot. And this has been a huge part of his game. He's always looking for his teammates.
Yeah. I mean, 30 goals and 20 assists. If he finished on that, that'd be amazing.
It would be.
I think if I was on those, I'd rest in game week 38. Like, just to finish. He's so elegant to finish with those 2 numbers.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, let me finish up here then with the motivation thing. So then Palace Forest, as we talked about, Palace, very little to play for in the Premier League, and they have the FA Cup final upcoming. So they have they don't have a lot to play for in terms of transfer. So even with this double, it's game week 36/37 doubles are really tricky ones because as we just talked about, like maybe less than 10 teams have something to really play for it on the stretch here. Mm-hmm. So it's not the kind of double game week where you really want to be, burning in -12 in order to load up on doublers, for example, right? Because you just kind of don't know what your kind of rotation you're going to see, what you're going to get.
And Palace were a nightmare the last double game week. Mateta played like a total of 90 minutes in that potential of 180 minutes, and Glasner will rotate the hell out of this squad ahead of the final. So I'm with you.
Yeah, as he should, So
sure.
And then Forest, I mean, for Forest, the big test is whether they can hang on to a Champions League spot.
It has become remarkably difficult for them.
I know, and this is the one you were right on Fulham and how they had no chance, but I was right on Forest, and I thought that the free fall was happening. You thought it was.
Yeah, I did think that there was no doubt, and now they're in 6th and they're coming up against a tough opponent in Brentford to even hang on to that.
Yeah.
So
game in hand. So that's
but that's again going back to my point about the Bournemouth, Fulhams, Brightons of the league. If Forest end up finishing in the Europa League places, from them finishing in 17th place last season, this is magnificent.
Yes.
It's still magnificent. It's just made that much harder by them being so high for so long.
Yeah. But it was really, they only kind of got there like at mid-season. You know what I mean? It was like sort of and so much of that I feel like was just driven by Patrick Kluivert and his kind of amazing run of good form. And penalty kicks for that matter. All right, so let me see here. We talked through Leisure Rules, had some questions for us about the running. We covered that. Let's end here with one question, Brandon. This is from Sam C. He says, I somehow still have my assistant manager left. Any thoughts on who you'd go for? Probably fired it off in 36 unless there's a strong reason to go earlier. So let me pull up just for you to look at. I have both of us to look at as we're talking here. The old. Oh, by the way, have you noticed they finally, after many years, introduced green?
It's a disgustingly dark forest green color. I don't like it.
It's like Michigan State green. You don't think it's like
it's a nice color, but it doesn't fit within the palette.
Right.
Of the
I guess that's true. But they've never used the one before, and so I enjoyed seeing that. And so we have. So you clearly want to. But the thing is, if you're just activated it now, you're going to cross over into the doubles no matter what, right? I guess unless you wait until 37. Do you play it this week or next week? Basically, would be the question. Is there one fixture that's so good this week that I would definitely recommend playing it.
No, I think it's just all about the adrenaline and the juice, and you have to play it in game week 36. Just make the run in super hard.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, if the question then, if you had any other chips, that would be the other thing to consider as well.
I mean, the bankable fixtures would be v Southampton or v Leicester, and the problem is they're playing each other.
Yeah, maybe throw Ipswich in there too, but they're playing Everton, right? So, I mean, I guess honestly, so
Everton, there it is. David Moyes is Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton to talk over you, but I think that's it.
Yeah, and Fulham, I don't know if Fulham would still qualify as a table bonus or not. They might be five slots ahead of them.
They are.
Yeah, so that's something too, or you could just switch to
Everton are 15th and Fulham are 8th. So
so that's definitely.
I like that Moyes if you feel compelled to play it now, Moyes. Yeah. Just imagine that wrinkled old man on your fantasy squad. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think if you, going with, Moyes for Ipswich and Southampton, that seems like, I mean, they're going to win both those games, I feel like, and, possibly keep a clean sheet both them as well.
Yeah, Everton struggle to score. Like, Beto has been awful. Yeah. But they are intensely organized. And Pickford, I don't know, this is not really a hot take, but Pickford's the best keeper in the Premier League. Bar none, in my opinion. Maybe Allison.
Allison and Ederson.
Ederson has not been good this season.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, you're right. Okay, so we'll table Ederson.
It's Allison versus Pickford.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it has not necessarily been.
I don't think Ray is in the conversation.
Emi Martinez hasn't necessarily had the best season.
Raya gets completely conned by set pieces on the regular.
I'm not prepared for this conversation, okay. But I think
we don't have to have it. We don't have to have
but
it.
I think I would probably put Allison first, and then I'm definitely willing to entertain.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think we're on the same page. Yeah,
starting keeper for England. I mean, he's a solid. He's
I guess there's he doesn't have a lot of it's not a controversial opinion.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have our boy. Oh my gosh, who is the old Leicester keeper that I used to love? Kasper Schmeichel. We don't have Kasper anymore. Still love that guy. He disappeared too. He kind of Will Zaha'd it. We need to do a.
He went to the Ligue 1, I think.
Yeah, we need to do like an all-star team sometime of people who. Left weirdly, it's like they Eden Hazard sort of falls in this category too, whereas you sort of they're big, big brands, big properties in the Premier League, and then suddenly they're just gone, and that's kind of it. You just never hear from them again.
He's at Celtic now. Schmeichel is. He left Leicester to go to Nice. Then he was briefly at Anderlecht.
Yeah,
and ended up.
Did Hazard retire? Is he still even playing in the Premier?
You haven't listened to Hazard's new album on Spotify?
No, I have not.
I'm just kidding. Surely this guy's making professional music now. Let's see. Yeah. He's retired. He left Madrid at the end of 2023, so it seems like he's retired.
Yeah, that's it. Wow. It's not kind of interesting. I didn't know he just retired.
Michael Walter Hazard would not have picked those two middle names.
No, and it really did not work out for him at Real Madrid, did it?
Sure. I mean, monetarily, I think it did, but that's fine.
True. That's true. Yeah, kind of like Gareth Bale. Remember when Bale came back?
He won Champions Leagues. Yeah, Gareth Bale won.
That's true. He scored a goal in the Champions League final. Yeah, what can you say? He was never that good for them, though.
I think he was very good for them.
For a while, for a year.
Look up Gareth Bale Real Madrid highlights, and you'll find a 30-minute video.
They couldn't give him away at the end, though. So
sure, he ended. Yeah. It ended very badly.
It ended. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was always a little injury prone, though, wasn't he? All right, so let's wrap up things there. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Again, lots to come over the next few days. We'll try to cover double game week announcements and news. Should we have them on the Patreon pod on Thursday? So once again, if you want to support the pod, you can go to patreon.com/alwayscheating. Brandon, you want to thank our producer patrons?
Oh, I love it. If you would like to support us at the highest tier, you get this shout out, much like these guys. and gals. Producers, Mike DePietro, Trevor Ingerson, Dave Wagner Lodahl, our buddy Chris Howell, Andy Penn, Nick Wright, Lazarus Janos, Jesse Halstead, Brian Chin, Bob Ascoon, Blair Jacobson, Todd Byerly, Andy Portlock, Dan Parsons, Terrence O'Donnell, Kerry Swanson, Jefferson Turner, as he does it, Francis Moore, Sam Shower, Craig Jackson, Caleb Robbie, Brian Clark, Thomas Tislov, Fro Jacobson, Gareth H., Shalin F. Kadaki, Rishi Nigam, Noah and Louise, Travis Grant, Linus Vennerstrom, Matthew Skinner, Ben Coombs, Eric Kite, Rune Sandberg, the three Jims, James Murray Wood, James C., and James Holland, Scully, Craig at Total Mass Tutoring, and Francis Mann. Rate, review, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us wherever you get social media. And Josh, 4 more game weeks. All right.
I'll stretch the final countdown.
Yeah. What are you feeling? How are you feeling right now as far as your season?
Keep asking me this. I don't know how I don't know how I feel.
Well, not how you feel about the season. It's just like now gut check time. Gut check time.
Well, I guess I feel like I am like about my own team. I don't know what you're
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to zero in on just. You're not even talking to the audience right now. Mm-hmm. I want to know what it's like to be in your den thinking about your fantasy team.
Well, I mean, it just depends on,
Are you
how
sharpening your blades right now?
Depends on what context you put it in. I mean, I think, at 400K, which is, so it'll be like one of my worst ever finishes, kind of no matter what happens. But, within the context of the season, I am happy with the way that I righted the ship.
Okay, good.
And I'm sort of in the I'm sort of in the self-respect mode where I'm like, all right, let me just try to do as well as I possibly can down the stretch to, for my own kind of sense of competitiveness and fair play or whatever, right? It's like, you want to it's like a team that's like, you're not going to make the playoffs, in other sports, but you still want to go out there and, I don't know, you do
it for the Gipper.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't have fans exactly, but it's like, just do it for myself, Yeah, do it for me.
No, that's exactly what I was fishing for. And I think that is what 99% of fantasy managers will be feeling right now is just grasping for a handful of game weeks that make them feel that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's my goal too.
It's something to watch when especially when the Premier League is kind of all done and dusted, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a thing to keep it going. So
here.
All right. Well, cheers. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back next week. Bye.
Imagine what's possible in your business career when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format is available in select business programs and lets you learn at a time and pace that works for you. That means you don't have to put your life on hold while earning your business degree. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.